Today, I want to talk to you about the art of building a star in boxing. Now, for me, there are three key attributes that needs to be present to build a successful star in boxing. The first one is displaying talent and potential. The second one is exceeding expectations. And the third one is building on momentum. Now, let me just take these three things in turn. What do I mean by displaying talent and potential? Now, I think this is a bit obvious. Talent. There has to be some talent there. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. Totally wasting your time. A person has to have talent. We can look back in time and think about some of the famous boxers who are superstars in boxing. Floyd Mayweather is a classic example, and we also have Mike Tyson. Two huge stars in boxing. Muhammad Ali, of course, is another one. What sets these boxers apart from the rest when it comes to talent is that they brought something new, something unique to their style of boxing, and that really set them apart from the rest. We know about Muhammad Ali with the rope-a-dope. That phrase, the rope-a-dope style, was coined by, Muhammad Ali's fight with George Foreman. And that was a boxing lesson. And it was exciting and it was impressive. That is pure talent. Look at someone like Floyd Mayweather, and Floyd was considered one of the most defensively talented boxers, coupled with his very, very fast reflexes. He was a very skilled boxer, a defensive genius, and that again was something that set him apart from the rest of his peers in his time. Mike Tyson, he also brought a completely new and different style, a skill set when he came into the heavyweight division in his time. And we have to remember, Mike Tyson came in, it became a pro as a teenager, and he had this peekaboo style where he bobs and weaves from left to right with the peekaboo with both his arms raised up towards his face, and that was something which is unique at the time. It was just something that other heavyweights weren't used to, and he was devastating. So that is talent. That's what I mean by talent. Now, moving on to the other key attribute in my view is exceeding expectations. So it wasn't just enough for these fighters had talent, because there were other fighters who were very, very talented, but we wouldn't necessarily class them as stars. I mean, one very good example I can pull off the top of my head was Zab Judah. Zab Judah was an absolutely excellent boxer, but you wouldn't quite put him on the same level as Floyd Mayweather, for example. Obviously, they fought each other, and it was a split decision win for Floyd Mayweather. But nevertheless, that's an example of someone who had talent, but talent wasn't just enough to get him to the top. So what's the whole point about exceeding expectations? Now, Floyd Mayweather, for example, he was a fighter who fought against the odds pretty much all of his career. He moved up in weight on a number of occasions. going all the way from a lightweight all the way through to junior middleweight when he fought Oscar De La Hoya. That shows you that he was continuously defying expectations, and that was consistent, which again leads to my other point, that the last of the three ingredients that makes a star, which is building on momentum. Consistency is the key. Consistently facing the best available talent out there, because that raises the expectation, that raises the anticipation. People are expecting something great. People are expecting that, can he do it this time? Can he do it this time? The anticipation builds, and that's what creates and continues to fuel the fan excitement, the excitement of the fans. Because he's now being continually being pitted against people who are considered as worthy challengers to this star, and by continuing to do that level of momentum builds and creates this absolute swell of anticipation, expectation, and just creates a persona for this fighter as almost invincible, because there is that continued building of momentum. So for me, those three ingredients are absolutely key in building a superstar, a star in boxing. I just want to take you through a case study on Floyd Mayweather, just to give you a little bit more detail, and whilst I go through this, think about those three things and think about and see how they apply in Floyd Mayweather's case, and you will see how true those three ingredients are and how key they are. So I'm going to read out first from Floyd Mayweather's early career. Early in his pro career, Mayweather received praise from all corners of the boxing world and was touted as a pugilistic prodigy. During his fight with Tony Duran, the ESPN commentator remarked, Emmanuel Stewart quoted as saying, "There have been very few who have been more talented than this kid. He'll probably win 2 or 3 world championships. I think he will go on to be the best ever." I thought that Floyd Mayweather was the outstanding pro prospect in the entire Olympic Games. Floyd Mayweather then went on to fight Hernandez in 1998. Within 2 years of entering professional boxing, Mayweather decisively won his first world title, the WBC Super Featherweight, with an 8-round technical knockout of the ring world #1 ranked super featherweight Genaro Hernandez after his opponent's cornerman stopped the fight. It was Hernandez's first defeat in that weight class. He said after the fight, "He defeated me. He is quick, smart, and I always knew he had the speed. I give him respect. He's a true champ." With Mayweather's win, he became lineal champion of the division. Genaro Hernandez had previously beaten Azuma Nelson, whose dominance of the super featherweight division had prompted boxing publication to give him the vacant lineal championship. The ring stopped awarding belts to world champions in the 1990s, but began again in 2002. Nelson won his lineal status during the 1990s. Therefore, the ring's vacant title was awarded neither to him, Hernandez, nor Mayweather. Mayweather then fought Corrales in one of the more definitive and memorable fights of Mayweather's career, where he fought the hard-hitting former IBF super featherweight champion Diego Corrales, who was 33-0 with 27 knockouts at the time. Coming into the bout, Mayweather and Corrales were undefeated, and neither fighter had touched the canvas. Mayweather was the ring's number 2 ranked super featherweight in the world and number 7 pound for pound, while Corrales was the number 1 ranked super featherweight in the world and number 5 pound for pound. Before the fight was announced, Mayweather had stated he wanted to fight Corrales, who was facing jail time for allegedly beating his pregnant wife. "I want Diego because I'm doing it for all the battered women across America," said Mayweather. "Just like he beat that woman, I'm going to beat him." While both fighters were the same age, 23, Corrales had several physical advantages over Mayweather, 2 inches in height and 1 inch in reach, and despite both arriving at the official weight in at least 130 pound super featherweight limit, unofficially 146 pounds versus Mayweather's 136.5 pounds. In the bout, Mayweather won every round and knocked down Corrales 5 times, 3 times in round 7 and twice in round 10. After the 5th knockdown, Corrales' cornerman climbed onto the apron and stopped the fight, thereby establishing Mayweather as a claimant to boxing's mythical pound-for-pound title. At the time of the stoppage, Mayweather was ahead on the scorecards, leading by 89-79, 90-79, and 90-78. Throughout the fight, HBO commentator analysed Mayweather. Larry Merchant stated, "Mayweather fights in a tradition of boxing and quick-heartedness that goes back in Michigan all the way to fighters like Sugar Ray Robinson." Mayweather then fought Castillo, and this was his first fight as a lightweight. Mayweather took on the WBC Council champion and the ring number 1 ranked lightweight, Jose Luis Castillo. Despite both fighters officially meeting the 135 pound lightweight limit, Mayweather came to the ring weighing unofficially 138.5 pounds to Castillo's 147.5 pounds. He defeated Castillo, winning the WBC and the ring and lineal lightweight titles with a 12-round unanimous decision at the MGM Grand Garden Arena before a crowd of 6,920. With Mayweather's win, he became the first lineal lightweight champion since Pernell Whitaker. Mayweather then moved up to light welterweight and fought Corley. Mayweather at 27 made his 140-pound debut by defeating former titleist DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley, knocking him down twice officially in rounds 8 and 10 and scoring a unanimous decision of 119-107, 119-108 and 118-108. The fight was billed as a WBC elimination bout, with the winner earning a shot at 140-pound champion Arturo Gatti. Mayweather can flat out fight, Corley trainer Don Turner said. "He's like magic. He makes you move into the punches." Shortly after this fight, Mayweather would reach number 1 on the USA Today pound for pound rankings, with middleweight champion Bernard Hopkins as number 2. Mayweather fought Arturo Gatti. This was a pay-per-view fight between Mayweather and the ring number 1 ranked contender Arturo Gatti, and that took place in June 25, 2005, in Atlantic City, New Jersey, where fans heavily supported Gatti. Before the fight, Mayweather was confident, describing Gatti as a C-plus fighter, a fake, and a blown-up club fighter. Mayweather entered the ring being carried on a chariot to the song "Another One Bites the Dust." Gatti entered the ring accompanied by the song "Thunderstruck" and was momentarily frightened by the pyrotechnics exploding. Near the end of round 1, Mayweather pushed Gatti's head down and close. Gatti broke, leaving himself vulnerable whilst Mayweather continued landing punches. Gatti turned to the referee to complain. Mayweather capitalized, sending Gatti to the canvas with more shots for what was scored as a knockdown. Throughout the next 5 rounds, the quicker Mayweather landed nearly every shot against Gatti, who had no offense with which to return fire. Gatti's corner stopped the fight after round 6, giving Mayweather his 3rd world title. Mayweather's move up to light middleweight, where he fought Oscar De La Hoya. This was a long-anticipated fight against the 6th division champion and WBC light middleweight title holder Oscar De La Hoya on May 5, 2007, Cinco de Mayo, as it's usually known. De La Hoya's belt was on the line, which required Mayweather to move up in weight from 147 pounds to 154. However, Mayweather was outweighed by more than 10 pounds the night of the fight, coming in at only 150 pounds. Despite De La Hoya's insistence that money was not a factor, the Mayweather-De La Hoya bout set the record for most pay-per-view buys for a boxing match, with 2.7 million households, breaking the previous record of 1.95 million for Evander Holyfield vs Mike Tyson 2. About 120 million in revenue was generated by the pay-per-view, another record. Including percentages, De La Hoya earned $58 million for the bout, the highest purse ever for a fighter. The previous record was $35 million, held by Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield. Mayweather earned about $25 million for the fight. Now, just giving you some brief synopsis on Mike Tyson's career, and also taking into consideration those 3 key factors that I say are necessary for developing a pay-per-view champion, a superstar. Mike Tyson was born in June 30, 1966. He's an American professional boxer who competed from 1985 to 2005. He reigned as the undisputed world heavyweight champion and holds the record as the youngest boxer to win a heavyweight title at 20 years, 4 months and 22 days old. Tyson won his first 19 professional fights by knockout or stoppage, 12 of them in the first round. He won the WBC title in 1986 after stopping Trevor Berbick in the 2nd round. That's winning his first title, stopping Trevor Berbick in the 2nd round. And added the WBA and IBF titles after defeating James Smith and Tony Tucker. They basically winning 3 of the 4 titles at the time. Basically owning the WBC, WBA and the IBF, all within 2 years of being a champion. This made Tyson the first heavyweight boxer to simultaneously hold the WBA, WBC and IBF titles and the only heavyweight to successively unify them. Tyson became the lineal champion in 1998, 3 years in as a champion, when he knocked out Michael Spinks in 91 seconds of the first round. And therefore he became the lineal champion, and he successfully defended, and of course the undisputed champion. And he successfully defended his titles 9 times, which included victories over Larry Holmes and Frank Bruno. In 1990, Tyson lost the titles to underdog Buster Douglas, who knocked him out in the 10th round. Attempting to regain the titles, Tyson defeated Donovan Roddick twice in 1991, but pulled out of a fight with the then undisputed heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield due to a rib injury. So there you have it. What do you make of that? When you look at Mike Tyson's career, you can see that his rise to the top was nothing short of meteoric. It was a meteoric rise. I mean, he became a world champion at the age of 20. Let's put that into context. That would mean someone like Daniel Dubois winning a version of the heavyweight title at the age of 20. That puts that into context. And then going on to collect all of the belt back to back to back within a 2-year period, collecting all the belts back to back to back and becoming the undisputed champion, and of course becoming a lineal champion as a result. That is what you call talent, and then continuing to fight against the odds in exciting fights, beating undefeated champions back to back, and then on top of that, maintaining that for that period of time. That is why he rose so quickly. That is why he became a champion. I mean, that is why he became a superstar. Because all of those 3 ingredients are present. And the same goes for Mayweather. Mayweather's, in my view, was even far more impressive. And hence why he became such a superstar. And people wonder why, Mayweather is so known. It's because those 3 ingredients are present. That created such a buzz, and that buzz grew to such an extent that the wave of expectation and the wave of how those expectations are being met made him legendary. That is what makes people legendary. Continually defying the odds, having that talent, but at the same time continuing to defy the odds with that talent that you have. That is why these guys became superstars. Why is this important? Why is this important? I'll tell you why it's important, because to me, the number of people out there who are trying to replicate this formula, but they've got it all wrong. They've got it all wrong, but they're expecting to be stars, or they wonder why they're not stars. They haven't done it in that way. You have to be talented first, but then you also have to continually defy the odds on a consistent basis. And that is what's going to transcend you to that level of a superstar. It is defying the odds, not just being basic or fighting basic or being in fights that no one really expects you to lose. Now, I'm going to do something here. I want you to consider 2 boxes at the moment in the heavyweight division and tell me which of these 2 boxes tick these boxes. Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Which of these 2 boxes tick any of these boxes? And I would say to you, in my view, Anthony Joshua ticks more of these boxes than Deontay Wilder. Look at Anthony Joshua's career. He's got talent. He's physically imposing. He's quick. He's got good boxing fundamentals. For his weight and size, he is a very, very good combination puncher, and that is what has got a lot of people hooked, because there comes this guy who's doing these crazy things, looks absolutely crazy, menacing, and he has also risen to the top very, very quickly because he consistently challenged himself. He was involved in challenging fights, and that is why he's become popular. And he's trying to maintain momentum because he's trying to get involved in with the best fighters out there. So, in my view, he has gone about it the right way in trying to become a star. Let's look at Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, on the other hand, he's undefeated. He's got power, freakish power. But has he been consistently challenging himself? Well, you be the judge of that. Because on all the people he had fought up until his fight with Luis Ortiz, I can't think of any of those fighters who Deontay Wilder wasn't expected to beat, or that posed, or who you could actually say were a significant challenge, or posed any sort of significant risk. These were all fighters who he really ought to be beaten anyways. Even Luis Ortiz, at the time that he fought Luis Ortiz, he ought to be beating him. Luis Ortiz was old. He was on high blood pressure medication, and that's a fact. What was so exciting about that fight, other than the fact that everyone thought that Deontay Wilder didn't have any skills and was likely to lose to anyone who had anything of a decent punching skill, anyone with a decent boxing skill. And the same with Tyson Fury. He fought Tyson Fury, who had come off a 2.5-year layoff, and everyone expected him to beat Tyson Fury. So I'm sorry, but there isn't anything exciting about that. And this guy expects to be a superstar. I'm sorry, but he's not a superstar, and that's why he hasn't been as successful as Anthony Joshua, because he hasn't done it the right way. He's missing 2 of those ingredients. And it's debatable whether he's even talented, other than the fact that he has power. So there we are. Let me know what you think. If you disagree with anything I've said in this video, well, tell me what you disagree with, and give me your reasons. Thank you very much. Peace out.